Hello and welcome to Opinions Plus. This clip has to do with one of the things we all face with in our lives, but how we react to loved ones who are passing from this life, leaving those we love, or they love, we love, and what what thinking happens, what prayers happen, what attitudes happen and change in us, in them. What are those who we love who are suffering from these severe traumas that may cause them to pass, to leave us? What what are they thinking? Much of it depends on their faith, I think, but much of it just depends on the fact that they're a human being and they have feelings and um, concerns and awarenesses. It's not all faith or nothing. Everybody has awarenesses of who they are, what they wanted to leave behind, their abilities to do good in the world or to do harm. They're asking forgiveness. They're asking for recognition. You know, everybody is different. But there is a fear that in the most of us we have for death. It's an unknown. It's a big question mark. So what do we do about it? How do we address it? Um, those in the family, they're all different perspectives. There are those who are looking at the logical issues, just the logical issues. Well, what happens if the person goes, and what what's the financial situation? What's the because you know, some people are very. It's a very difficult financial place to be, and if there's a sudden death or something that there's no insurance or no, there poverty that can be faced, serious consequences that just jump up and shout at the living. But you don't know. Nobody can know that. Everybody's different. Not everybody's middle class. Not everybody has insurance. Not everybody has good medical care. Not everybody, there's sudden deaths. There are deaths that you've just been there enough time to say something to the deceased, to the person who is dying, and it's. But not everybody can be there. Not everybody can be at the same time in the same place. There were restrictions with COVID, and many people put that down and said, "Oh, how horrendous! What terrible, you know, people these health people are for keeping others." Well, there have to be practical. There have to be practical methods and procedures put in place. Does that affect you? Of course it does. That affects the living. It affects the person who is, you know, dying before us. It affects them. Just as if you were in intensive care, you can't have multiple people in there. There's a lot of sick people in the hospital. There are a lot of people that can be impacted. Infections are carried by others. It's a difficult time. It's a difficult situation. Do you accept all these things? That again is a difficult thing. In most cases, we accept the policies of the hospital. We accept the policies of the people who are above us because we consider that they are considerate, that they are considering the overall values and views of us. And it's not always the case. many times there's, disinterest or even a lack of empathy. Most times it's, there is the empathy. But these are jobs for many people. They are not always that empathetic. But that should not change how we view. We may be angered or frustrated or, upset. But we have to look at what is happening not only to the person that we love or care for or just visiting. We don't even have to really know them. I mean, I've ministered to people that I didn't hardly even know who are passing. And it doesn't mean your compassion just grows or shrinks or whatever because you have an intimate knowledge of them. They're people. They have a life. They have a soul. They have a purpose. They have a reason for being. There's many things that go into this that we just do not know. But the underlying thing is the concern that we have, the primary concern is their comfort. When we don't know what's in their minds, if they're not aware and articulate, they might not be. They might not have the ability to speak well. You just don't know. But what you do know is that your love is there. Your ability to share that love from wherever you are. If you're when my grandmother died, I was in boot camp, and they wouldn't let me go anywhere. They just wouldn't. I was heartbroken about that. But it does affect you. Whether you're, a tough young Marine going through this thing, okay, well, this is just, order and discipline. But it is more than that. People are much more than just order and discipline. You can pretend, you can do all you want, but it's much more. So, did it affect me? Yes, it did. How did it affect me? It's very hard to articulate that. But it did affect me as a young man. But you have to put things into your containers, your little spaces in your head where you can't let that affect what you have to do. I speak of war situations many a time, and that's the ultimate end in a war, is the death of a friend, the death of someone who has worked to save your life many a time. What does it do to you? How does it change you? You affect that. You are important in this equation. It is not just the person who has, is wounded or deceased or is in intensive care, your relationship to them. They're all important. But death is a part of life. There's nothing you can do to change that. It will happen. It happens to everybody. Life is important in itself, but it is not just something to cling on forever and say that one must just live. To what extreme people can do these things today. Your heart must go out. Your heart must be the one that guides you. It is not just the brain. The brain will give you logical premises for this or that or whatever, but it's a mix. And these strong emotional times, the mix is there. And I'm speaking to a condition that I'm facing, and it's not simple. But there's all different relationships, and your past experiences have showed you this or that or whatever. It all works together. But your heart, your view, and it's not just your heart just goes out and says, okay, now everything is, you know, we got to do everything we can. Well, you can't always do everything you can. You have to understand and use your mind, use your heart together. But really, it's your heart that will say what is valuable to you. So you're going to have to make decisions that are tough, that are really tough. There's no simple answer. You may have counselors, and then again, is it a religious faith thing? Is it something else? Is it based on your understanding of, what you thought your religion wanted, but found out it's different? That you have to change these things, accept these things? Well, acceptance is a critical part of all of this. You have to accept the fact, of course you do. But hope springs eternal. Hope is everywhere. You don't know what miracles will come. You look at the situation and you say, hope is there. It's always there. And if you're a spiritual person, you say hope is for the future. It doesn't cover up the wounds. It doesn't make the wounds any more bearable. You still love the person. The person's possibly going to be gone or has gone. And you still have those wounds. The tears will come. Allow the tears to come. But know that death is a part of life. It's an intrinsic part of it. Nobody can come into this world without others who have gone before them. That's the entire system. It will not change. And, no matter how you wail, in some cultures there's a lot of emotion expressed. It's almost frightening sometimes. But it's their reality. But, there's also that belief that you can see people on, afterlife. For those who don't have that belief, you still have a strength. You still have an understanding of the value and the goodness and the joy that has happened in your life as a result of that person. There's many ways to look at things. You can't address all the ways to look at it. You can address it from a Catholic perspective, or you can address it from a Latter-day Saint perspective, or a Muslim perspective, or an atheist perspective, Hindi, Buddhism, all these things. But it doesn't change the fact you're going to lose someone. But there's hope that especially if they're in a situation that there is hope. Miracles happen. It's not unheard of. We don't know a tenth of what's going on in this world. We know so little. So don't underestimate the power of miracle, the power of grace, the power of prayer, the power of positive thinking, the power of energy that's around us. Use it, not only to help the person who's suffering, but you're suffering too. Let it help you. Let it be a part of you. It works together. You will work. You will find solutions. You have to believe in yourself, believe in the powers that are around you, believe in your faith. Whatever it is, you will find it, but seek that quiescence. Seek that ability to balance life and death in your life. In your life. As I'm talking to you, the other person who is, on their last days, my mother suffered. She was, not aware of life at her end. She had a massive brain tumor. So, what did she know? What was she able to know? You have to look at yourselves. You're going to be the ones around. She's already made peace with her maker. She's already made peace with her consciousness. It's just the way it is. Then my thread, thought, my hope, I guess, in this clip is to trust yourselves. Trust that inner being. Don't let just one thing rule, whether it's emotion, sadness, love, hope. It's not one thing. It's a balance. The body is filled with multiple factors. But don't underestimate the power of miracle. Things can change. Don't underestimate the amazing medical system we have today. It has its flaws. It definitely has its flaws, as in most things. But there's so much to give and take and learn from. Be balanced, be open, think about it. You have to think about it. And if you're a prayerful person, pray about it. Pray about it. Let it go through you. Let the positiveness go through you. It doesn't change. These are things that are internal for you, for them. And that aura that I spoke of earlier is around. It permeates things. We're not just here as little boxes. We have influence. So, it's a challenging time. There's no doubt. A very challenging time. But we face many challenging times in life. Be aware, love, hope, and do the best you can under some difficult times. But you have the abilities. You have the internal ability to get through these things in a way that is respectful of yourself, respectful of the person you love, and, just be yourself. Be yourself. Thanks for listening. Take care. If you like what you hear, subscribe. If you like, hit that like button or whatever. If you think it has some value to someone, pass the link on. These are, not algorithms. There's no formula here. There's just encouragement to you to be more aware of the power that's within you to deal with the trauma and the trials that surround us all. Faith is one thing, but there are many people that don't have a strong faith. They don't just live on that faith. I speak to all people, not just one group of people, but all people. Thanks for listening, and have a good day. Bye for now.